Beneath the carefully polished veneer of modern monarchy, reports have surfaced suggesting a period of significant internal friction within the British royal family, centering, according to these accounts, on the position and influence of Queen Camilla. Decades of history, marked by public scandal and private heartache, shadow her presence. And now, claims emerge that this complex past is fueling present-day tensions, potentially potent enough to reshape the inner workings of the House of Windsor. A startling comment attributed to the famously forthright Princess Anne has reportedly acted as a catalyst, bringing long-simmering reservations to the fore. Adding another layer to this alleged discord are observations surrounding Catherine, Princess of Wales, whose subtle actions are being interpreted by some as aligning with Anne's purported stance. Has the carefully managed integration of Camilla reached a crisis point? What undercurrents are truly swirling behind the palace's imposing doors, and what roles are the king's sister and wife playing in this unfolding drama, which some narratives sensationally claim has culminated in Camilla being effectively sidelined? The reality of royal life, often obscured by the fairy tale facade presented in media portrayals, involves intricate efforts to maintain a flawless public image while navigating internal pressures and complex power dynamics. Family members constantly perform a delicate balancing act, weighing personal emotions against the heavy responsibilities incumbent upon them as representatives of the crown. Every public appearance, every gesture, is subjected to relentless media scrutiny, amplifying the challenge of upholding both familial loyalty and public duty. This intense pressure cooker environment can inevitably breed conflict and tension, a far cry from the serene grandeur often imagined. Recent reports suggest this inherent friction has crystallized around Queen Camilla, with claims that senior princesses are now challenging her standing. Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, is positioned in these narratives as a central figure in this supposed dispute, allegedly voicing strong opinions about the Queen Consort's suitability for her role. According to these claims, Anne harbors deep reservations, rooted in the history of Camilla's long-standing affair with King Charles during his marriage to the late Princess Diana. The assertion reported is stark. Anne purportedly believes Camilla is unfit to be queen and has urged others within the household not to afford her the full reverence associated with the title. This perspective, however, exists within a broader historical context, where royal history is replete with scandals far exceeding marital infidelity. From King Henry VIII's break with Rome, driven by his quest for a male heir, fundamentally altering English history, to King George IV's controversial and illegal marriage to Maria Fitzherbert. Few royal closets, historically speaking, are entirely free of skeletons. Why then, according to this narrative, is Anne's purported view of Camilla so particularly uncompromising? Understanding this requires acknowledging the unique shadow Diana cast and the specific way Camilla entered the royal fold. The British royal family, despite its mastery of public relations, has always been a theatre of complex human relationships, rivalries, and veiled power plays. The current alleged situation involving Charles, Camilla, and the senior princesses is presented as merely the latest act in a long-running saga, yet one potentially more consequential than typical palace intrigue. Every public interaction, every subtle glance exchanged, is dissected by observers searching for signs of alignment or discord. This relentless analysis fuels a cycle of speculation about hidden alliances, festering grudges, and the distribution of influence behind the scenes. The royals are acutely aware of this public fascination and the need to project unity. The narrative gaining traction suggests that the carefully maintained facade began to show visible cracks with Camilla's ascent. Her journey from controversial third person in Charles and Diana's marriage to Queen Consort was never going to be seamless. While public opinion gradually softened over decades, her elevation alongside Charles reportedly stirred resentment, not just among segments of the public, but crucially, among some members of the royal family itself. This alleged internal resistance forms the core of the current reported difficulties. Further complicating the family's public image management are the actions and statements of Prince Harry and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Their departure from royal duties and subsequent critical interviews have undeniably intensified global scrutiny and often presented narratives challenging the institution's portrayal of itself. While the royal family possesses a remarkable capacity for weathering storms and presenting a united front, the current dynamics, as depicted in these reports, feel different, suggesting divisions that run deeper than standard familial disagreements. Princess Anne's alleged shocking revelation regarding Camilla is positioned as a key turning point, supposedly framing the Queen Consort as a potential vulnerability to the royal system itself. This, according to the sensational claims, has led to considerations about diminishing her role or presence within the central operations of the monarchy. The situation is portrayed as fluid and complex, with observers struggling to keep pace with the alleged shifts within Buckingham Palace. What seems apparent, from this perspective, is a lack of universal acceptance or respect for Camilla's position, fueling speculation about the monarchy's future stability. Intriguingly, the figures reportedly central to this challenge, Princess Anne and Princess Kate, are often perceived publicly as among the most dutiful and least controversial senior royals. Anne is renowned for her prodigious work ethic and dedication to her numerous patronages, while Kate is widely seen as a stabilizing influence, rarely engaging in public disputes. How, then, have these two figures become implicated in narratives suggesting they are undermining the Queen Consort? Examining their alleged relationship with Camilla offers clues, according to these accounts. It's widely acknowledged that Camilla and Princess Anne do not share a warm, effusive bond. Anne's inherent reserve, her stern adherence to principles, and her no-nonsense demeanor often preclude demonstrative closeness within the family. Her career has been defined by an unwavering commitment to duty, earning her significant respect, even from those who might find her personally formidable. However, this dedication, according to the narrative being presented, can manifest as a form of perceived extremism when she believes the monarchy's integrity is threatened. From Anne's reported perspective, Camilla, due to her past and her perceived influence over the king, represents such a threat. The alleged confrontation during a coronation dinner is cited as evidence of this deep-seated view, supposedly revealing fault lines that had been widening long before Charles ascended the throne. Princess Kate enters this complex dynamic as a figure known for her poise and diplomatic skill. She has navigated the complexities of royal life with apparent grace, largely avoiding the controversies that have ensnared others. Yet, her very discretion, her notable silence on the matter of Camilla's standing, is interpreted by some commentators, cited in these reports as indicative of underlying discomfort. While Kate has not openly voiced criticism, her lack of overt enthusiastic support for Camilla is taken as a sign that she may share, albeit more subtly, some of Anne's reservations. Central to this interpretation is the powerful role of tradition within the royal family. While duty, service, and privacy are core values, adherence to historical precedent and ritual often forms the bedrock of their identity. Breaches of tradition can signal significant shifts or internal discord. Kate's alleged failure to curtsy fully to Queen Camilla during the coronation ceremonies is presented as a prime example. Bowing and curtsying are not merely archaic gestures of deference. They are deeply ingrained rituals signifying respect and acknowledging the established hierarchy within the monarchy. Theoretically, the manner and consistency of these gestures visually represent the pecking order. Hello. Magazine and other observers scrutinized Kate's actions closely. Her choice reportedly was not a full curtsy, but a more subtle nod or bob. Some interpret this, according to the narrative, as a deliberate, albeit understated signal of her personal reservations about Camilla's ultimate status as Queen Consort. Others argue it aligns with a broader trend towards modernizing royal practices, opting for less formality while still showing respect. Given that Camilla outranks Kate, the expectation, based on strict tradition, would be a clear curtsy upon meeting and departing. The narrative emphasizes that Kate, having been married to the heir Prince William for years and holding senior titles like Princess of Wales, is intimately familiar with royal protocols. She has witnessed countless state occasions and family gatherings where these traditions are enacted. Therefore, her alleged deviation from the expected courtesy is presented not as an oversight, but as a potentially conscious choice, a bold disregard for a crucial element of royal etiquette. For proponents of this view, this action signifies only one thing: a lack of full approval for Camilla's position. The what-if scenario involving Princess Diana inevitably surfaces in these discussions. Many royal watchers, and reportedly some within the family, still find it difficult to fully embrace Camilla in the role Diana was destined for. The lingering sentiment is that had Diana lived and reconciled with Charles, however unlikely, or had Charles married someone else entirely, the current tensions might not exist. Perhaps Harry's departure might have been averted, and the brothers' relationship might be less fractured. This ghost of Diana potentially informs the mindset. It is speculated, contributing to the perceived coolness towards Camilla. However, the narrative also acknowledges the counter-arguments. Princess Kate, as the future queen consort herself, understands the importance of stability and projecting unity. She is setting an example for her own children and future generations. Placing personal feelings, whatever they may be, ahead of the monarchy's institutional needs would seem contrary to her established pattern of behavior. There's also the distinct possibility, as mentioned, that the alleged non-courtesy is simply part of the gradual evolution of royal customs under King Charles, who is known to favor a slimmed-down, less formal monarchy. Perhaps bowing and curtsying are indeed traditions being subtly phased out or relaxed in less formal settings. Public reaction to Kate's alleged actions, as reported, is divided. Some find a perceived defiance of rigid protocol refreshing, seeing it as evidence of individuality within the institution. Others, staunch believers in tradition, view any deviation as a serious lapse, arguing that upholding these centuries-old customs is essential to the monarchy's mystique and authority, especially for senior figures like the Princess of Wales. Regardless of the precise interpretation of Kate's actions, the controversy surrounding her interactions with Camilla, juxtaposed with Princess Anne's alleged outspokenness, paints a picture, according to these reports, of significant unease surrounding the queen consort. To understand the depth of these alleged feelings requires revisiting the history that continues to cast a long shadow over Camilla's reign. Her journey has been inextricably linked with controversy, primarily stemming from her protracted affair with Charles during his turbulent marriage to Diana. Despite Charles and Camilla having known each other before his 1981 wedding, their affair resumed and persisted, placing immense strain on the royal marriage and attracting intense public condemnation. Diana's famous 1995 Panorama interview reference to "three of us in this marriage" cemented Camilla's image in the public consciousness as the other woman. Charles's own admission of infidelity in a 1994 interview further damaged both their reputations. Following Diana's tragic death in 1997, public sentiment towards Camilla remained overwhelmingly negative for years. She maintained a low profile as she and Charles cautiously navigated their relationship into the public eye. The announcement of their engagement and subsequent marriage in 2005 required careful handling. Notably, it was decided Camilla would use the title HRH, the Princess Consort, upon Charles's accession, a concession to the still raw public feeling and lingering loyalty to Diana's memory. The eventual decision, announced by Queen Elizabeth II in her Platinum Jubilee year and enacted upon Charles becoming king in 2022, for Camilla to be known as Queen Consort, reignited debate. While many accepted it as the natural consequence of her position as the king's wife, Diana's dedicated supporters voiced dismay, arguing it was an unsuitable title for Camilla given the history. Over the decades, Camilla has undeniably worked diligently to carve out her own role, focusing on charitable work, particularly supporting literacy initiatives, animal welfare, and victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. She has built a portfolio of patronages and undertaken countless engagements, gradually earning respect for her work ethic and resilience. Yet, the shadow of the past persists. Critics remain skeptical, feeling the narrative of her affair and its devastating impact on Diana has been conveniently smoothed over. Media portrayals, particularly dramatic interpretations like Netflix's The Crown, continue to revisit the affair, often depicting Camilla in an unflattering, manipulative light, further shaping public perception and keeping the controversies alive for new generations. As Queen Consort, Camilla occupies a central position, yet her legacy remains complex, perpetually intertwined with the history of her relationship with Charles and the enduring memory of Diana. While time and her own efforts have softened some opinions, the narrative presented by recent reports suggests that within the palace itself, acceptance may not be universal, and the controversies of the past continue to fuel tensions that could impact the future of the modern monarchy.